Welcome to the podcast. It's Randy Byrd, and it is Like a Boss Pod. Welcome to the podcast. You know, we started this podcast for really three reasons. One, to mentor and inspire entrepreneurs and business owners to be the best they can be, whether that's in real estate or construction, or even if you own a hot dog stand, is to be the best damn hot dog stand in town. And then maybe make that vertical. Maybe you get 30 hot dog stands. Little known fact, my great grandfather started Carl's Jr.'s in a hot dog stand. And that is a true story. If you go into any Carl's Jr.'s in the nation, you'll see a picture of Carl Karcher on the left, Phil Smith, which is my great grandfather, unrelated by blood, but by marriage, and my aunt Sally in his arms. And so I've always loved that story. My very first job was at Carl's Jr.'s. But basically, this is for that entrepreneur, somebody that wants to really take and run the American dream. Number two is to motivate and change the mindset of aspiring bosses all over the world. You know who you are. You want to own your own business. You work for somebody else, but you've always had dreams of starting your own business, or you're running your own entrepreneurship business now, whether it's a real estate lender. You know, again, it could be in any category. I think we're going to deliver some hacks and strategies that are going to help you in business. A little warning, this is a no bullshit, no fluff, no foo-foo, no pink unicorn show. I am a general contractor for 20 years, real estate broker for 16 years, a Coast Guard veteran, and you know, I'm going to drop it like it's hot. I'm going to drop the bombs. I'm going to have a good time. I do cuss. If that's not for you, we picked the wrong show. But I have a deep passion to serve. This is number three for me. I have a deep passion to serve. I'm fueled by helping others. Inspiring, teaching, and mentoring people is what I really enjoy to do. I'm a real estate coach for the #1 national real estate coaching company on planet Earth. I also do speaking and teaching and run different groups on everything from lead generation to objection handling, scripts, and dialogues. And frankly, the reason I say this is it's going to lend you some hacks, some shortcuts, some ways to advance in your career faster than you normally would. And frankly, there's not a lot of great shows out there in the business category for entrepreneurs. So let's be real. Like I said, I'm a team leader, general contractor, veteran sailor. I'm going to drop the goods, but I'm not going to hold back. I cuss. Sorry, get over it. Get pumped up. Be ready for the show. If it rubs you or it gets your panties in a wad, probably not the show for you. I'd check out maybe Ellen. I think she's got a good show. But anyway, in all reality, we're really excited to bring this to you. It is really what my passion is. I've been doing some video and other content. And really, for me, it's just delivering content. And with that, I've brought somebody that I really am excited to partner with in this, my co-host. I'd like to introduce Joey Garton. Joey is an amazing young man. He is buffed like I wish you could see on this podcast. He's ripped. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's little twin. And, you know, Joey's a great guy, but I'd love to hear from Joey. Give us a little background about yourself, Joey.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's little twin. Wouldn't that make me Danny DeVito?
Wrong show.
Was that a backhanded compliment or what? Thank you so much, Randy. My background, you know, it's funny. I've been out of the Marine Corps a really long time, and yet that still is one of those defining things. Like when you lay out your who you are, Marine. Was a real estate broker, mortgage broker. Have generated leads primarily from the tech space. Always been that tech guy that was tied to the sales or marketing department. I mean, I could bore you with all the industries I've generated leads in. Been doing that since the turn of the century. I love what you said. I too, really, you know, maybe it's our age, but there's something about getting to this space and saying, you know what, I want to have a positive impact on the people around me. You know what I mean? Make the world a better place. You know what I mean? Something about like leave it a little bit better than we found it. And hopefully through this podcast, that's exactly what we'll do. You know, it's not going to resonate with everybody. Man, not everybody, you know what I mean? That's why they make all different flavors of Kool-Aid, brother. Not everybody likes grape. So for those that do dig this, I hope, you know, you found your channel. And we'll have a positive impact. So I look forward to bringing Randy would probably say that I can get a little too deep in the weeds with the analyst stuff, a little too techie. He both respects that, and at the same time, there's sometimes I know he's just like, shut up. But
I'll let the listeners be the judge of that.
There you go.
You know what? Joey is a very animated, and when we get him fired up, and as we progress, I guarantee you're going to see both Joeys on this show. There's Joey A and Joey B. But you know what I love about that, and I think I'm the same way, frankly. I have two different personalities. One when I'm like in my rocks, when I'm juiced up and I'm fired up and I'm in my space, I'm unstoppable. I start spitting on the front row of the freaking audiences I'm talking to. That's real for me. And then I also have the time where I'm more, recluse and a little more withdrawn because maybe it's not my space or maybe I don't have the same comfort level. But are we doing that in our businesses? That's what's important to me. Are we doing that in our businesses? Are we letting a story of when we were like 6 years old and mom slapped our hands for touching the phone? Is that affecting you in today's business? And so that's the kind of shit we're going to talk about on the show. We're going to dive right in and have a good time with that. But this is episode 00. So this is literally the intro to our show. We're going to post a couple other shows, and we're going to do 2 shows a week as a commitment to ourselves and to our listeners. Joey just looked at me like saying, what? But we're going to do 2 shows a week, and we're only going to bring content when there's content to be brought. If there's no good content, we're not going to make shit up. We're not going to Google stuff just to have a show. We're going to bring content that values the listeners. And frankly, we don't ask for anything in return. Actually, I do have a request in return, so I lied. I'm sorry. First lie of the show, 5 minutes.
Just that fast.
Just that fast. This is how it's going to roll. But when I lie, I'm going to tell you. When I do wrong, I'm going to tell you. But I ask that you tell others about the show if you get value out of it. If you get any value out of it and you think there's somebody else, don't be that guy. Don't hoard the information. Share it with 2 of your buddies that are in a space or in a business. I know you know 2 people that are in business. And if you don't, you need to get out of the house and get some friends. But here's the reality. You tell 2, they tell 2. Okay? You plus 2, them plus 2 is my motto. That worked in my network marketing business. It's going to work in this business. That platform will work. You plus 2, them plus 2. So if you love it, tell 2 friends about it. That's all I'm going to say for now. But you better do it. So check this out. Today, I want to talk about really mindset, right? Mindset's so generic, and positive energy is what I wrote on my sheet today that I feel really has value. And so for me, there's so many different pieces of this, but what I'm passionate about is explaining to business owners the power of positivity, the power of positive thinking, the power of manifesting your goals, hopes, and dreams. And hope is lost in America, I think. I think hope for kids getting out of college, they have $120,000, $150,000 in student debt, and they're coming out to getting $30,000, $40,000 jobs with no hope of paying that off in any reasonable amount of time. There's a lack of hope in our business environment. There's a lot of optimism that we used to see. There's optimism today if you look for it, but there's also so much pessimism and so much negativity in our space. God forbid if you watch the news every day, it's almost impossible to have a positive outlook if you're watching the news every single day. And I love my dad, obviously, dearly. My dad is like one of my only living people in my life. I've had tragedy in my life. My only younger brother committed suicide about 6 years ago. Tragic loss, depression's a real thing. And so when I talk about positive energy, I'm coming from a place in my gut, down below my lungs, in the center of my chest. I'm coming from that place. My ex-wife also committed suicide, rest her soul. But my father, God bless him, he is like a forever, he's just a pessimist. It's just how it is. And if you ever listen to my show, I'm sorry, Dad, I'm just being real. But he probably would not admit that. But he is caught up, in my opinion, of that. And so is most of the world. And what's going on the outside instead of focusing on what's going on with you and what's going on the inside. So that's a little bit of a transition as we're going to talk about positive energy today and how we can manifest that, how we can be on purpose about bringing that energy into your life, family, business, relationships, and all that. So look, Joey, we just created a relationship show, a business show, a personal development show. We got all that rolled up into one. But, all bullshit aside, it's really about what you choose to lay your intentions to. What is it you choose to lay your intentions to? Is it positive or negative? So with that, I'd like to introduce you to my illustrious co-host, Joey, for his take on the positive energy side of things?
You know, we talked about this before. I think when people hear positive and negative energy, I also heard a long time ago that somebody told me that everything it comes from either love or fear. And I think that these words, we get caught up in vocabulary, right? So it's like one person says love, fear, somebody else says positive, negative, somebody else says God and the devil, right? But what you're saying is there is no neutral. So what are you bringing? When we talked about walking down the street and just putting a nice smile on your face, not, you don't have to look like you just came out of the Arkham Insane Asylum, right? The Joker. Just a casual smile, greet people, watch the difference. Watch the difference it'll make in you. First off, they've done tons of studies on this that like actually smiling, you're in a bad mood. Force yourself to smile. It'll pull you out of your bad mood, right? So that there's that idea that it's one or the other. Which is it? And make no mistake, you choose. It's not a matter of like, I'm not discounting what somebody went through and say, hey man, you don't know what I went through. No, I don't. And I would never discount it. But right now, there are things you can't control. One of the things you can control is whether or not you're smiling. One of the things you can control is whether or not you want to accept someone's gift of negativity or go, hey man, sorry to hear that. Got to keep going. I'm going to be positive and hand it out, right? And I know that when times are tough, that's really hard to hear. It's really hard to hear. But it doesn't make it any less true. It doesn't mean it's any less true, man.
That's so true. I don't know about you, but negative people just repel me now. And I've got this filter that's a negative filter that I just cannot deal with. And frankly, I had to work through the motions and emotions of trying to figure out how to deal with that in a way that was non-abusive to them, because it's my shit. It's not their stuff necessarily, but it's my intolerance to it now. I just don't have a tolerance for that negativity. And, there's a fine line between somebody being just generally negative, the sky's falling. Did you see what happened with the real estate market? Did you watch CNN? That can just, constantly negative news can drive you into the ground. There's a difference between being negative and somebody going through a real life emotional crisis, right? There's a time, when somebody's positive all the time and then they come to you and they go, dude, I'm having a really rough day. You're like, wow, what's going on? You want to put your arms around them and help them, versus the person that every time you see them at the copy machine in the office or somewhere else, they literally just have the next negative Nancy bullshit story that they're trying to tell you. And I'm like, check, please, I'm out, right? And so I learned how to do that in a way that is somewhat respectful rather than being disrespectful, because I don't want to put more negative energy on top of that and bring negativity into mine, but I have to preserve my positive energy. I go through a morning routine every day to set my mind up to be in positive energy. Clearly, depression must run in my family. Clearly, depression has been in my mind before. And so, the truth be told, and kind of my little dirty secret is I got into coaching so I would force myself to be in front of people and to be in that positive mindset. I did it maybe unknowingly, but I did it just the same. And I always looked at myself as a positive person, but in the dark secrets of my life, I was not. I was struggling. I was struggling with my success level, with the things that I was accomplishing, the way people thought of me. And really, this is where this show's been inspired from, in the deep parts of my body that, I figured it out. I'm figuring it out. That's a better way to put it. I'm figuring it out. And I'm devoting time every day to that journey. And I'm just literally entrenching and diving into motivational books and self-help and positivity, because that's my non-negotiable in my life now. And so, I don't know how you feel as a listener, but I focus on that positive energy every day, and it can change lives. It really can. So when I think of this, I think of how does it relate to business? How is this going to benefit you, rather than me just rambling on about it, right? Well, how do you respond in your business? How do you answer your phone? Do you answer your phone like you're protecting your daughter from a boy in high school every time anybody calls? Are you living in a moat, meaning that you have your house surrounded so nobody can enter without your permission? We've made life now where we're protective, and we have to be, frankly. The amount of propaganda that we're being thrown at and shoved down our throats every day is unbelievable. And what I mean by that is we have voicemail. We have caller ID. We have emails that we look at before we respond. We hardly ever answer the phone. I mean, that's just reality. But if you're a business owner, we have to find a way to balance that and be in a positive place, because you never know when your next A-list customer is going to come along. So when we talk about that, it's about motivation. It's about positivity. It's about doing something in your business that is going to be enticing and attractive to potential customers and clients. And frankly, you know, I do a lot of cold call teaching and teaching how objection handling, that kind of stuff. When we do this, it's positioning yourself, giving yourself affirmations before the call, standing up straight, maybe even standing when you're making your phone calls. All this is for that energy. And I know Joey knows what I'm talking about when I talk about energy in this sense, because it's really noticeable. You could feel somebody's energy when it's good or bad. Joey, what do you think?
There's absolutely energy hacks. What you were just talking about standing up, right? There's the small little tiny hacks where, like, force a smile, right? You say, I'll force a smile. Just watch. You're really upset. Smile for a few minutes, see what happens. You're going to make your call stand up. There's bigger hacks. Getting up early in the morning and working out. Drinking plenty of water. Getting sleep. Those are larger. Yeah. You can tell all about the 75 hard challenge and the difference that it's made. You're what, like a third of the way, a quarter of the way through?
No, I'm today is day 19.
Okay, so that's almost 33%, right? That's over a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, that is a quarter of the way through.
Yeah. So there's little tiny hacks, and then there's big hacks. And I would say really big hacks involve, you know, who you hang out with. You hear this stuff has become so cliche, but let me tell you about cliches. They're usually steeped in truth. That's how they became cliches. And so the idea that you are the byproduct of the 5 people you hang out with the most, if you're hanging out with a bunch of negative people that they can't wait to race to alcohol to drown their problems, and you guys get together and commiserate about the economy or about whatever political person you do or don't like or any of that kind of stuff, you know, I love, there's this saying, and I know you know it, that it says, small minds discuss people, mediocre minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. Okay, think about when you start talking, what are you talking about, right? Not trying to put anybody down.
I love that.
Yourself, right?
And you know, you said the 5 people. Sorry,
right?
Joe. You said the 5 people. One of my favorite sayings on the planet is, "Show me who your friends are. I'll show you who you are." You are a summary of the 5 people you hang around the most.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the thing: you're eating mental potato chips, right? They taste so good. Oh, dude, my mouth just filled full of spit even saying the word potato chips, right? But how do you feel after you've eaten a half bag of potato? Because you don't eat a potato chip, right? How do you feel? You feel gross. You feel lethargic. You feel fat. You don't feel good about yourself. Versus eating the broccoli or eating the banana. It may not hit the mouth as nice, but afterwards you feel good about yourself.
I want to know what drug they put in potato chips to make me eat 1,000 of them.
Oh, dude. Crave it fortnightly. Smartass. I think it's salt and grease, I think.
Oh, dude. Well, salt and grease is a great combination then, because they are just addicting.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's a choice, right? I mean, it's a conscious choice. But, you know, you just said alcohol. And one of the things about 75 Hard is no alcohol. And to be vulnerable, that was the one thing that bugged me the most. I read. So here's how this went down, right? The 75 Hard challenges. And it's Andy Frisella. And by the way, I'm obsessed with him. My show's probably going to lean a lot towards the direction of his show. But the reality is, you know, my 5 people that I track with, Andy Frisella, Tom Bilyeu, Tom Ferry, Gary Vaynerchuk. These are all people that I look up to and listen and basically consume their content all the time. And when I did the 75 Hard, somebody sent it to me and I was out having a cocktail and having dinner, and I didn't have my glasses on. I wear glasses now. I turned 25 last Tuesday. Just kidding. But, you know, I looked at it and it said work out twice a day. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot, but I need that. And it was like 45 minutes. I'm like, I could do that. And then it said drink a gallon of water. I'm like, I definitely need to drink more water. And the other one was read 10 pages of a non-fictional book every day. Read, not Audible, which I've been doing. So that was a commitment, but I love getting back into reading. And I'm like, I'm in. And then like 27 people replied, Bird's in. Bird's in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And they're like, you're in for real? And I'm like, I'm all in. And then I got home that night and put my glasses on. I'm checking my Facebook and everybody's blowing me up that I'm in this contest with them, this challenge, excuse me. And I read it. And the first thing I looked at was a strict diet and no alcohol. And I'm like, what the frick? Oh man, I didn't do this. But now I've got 26 people that are applauding me. So that's how I got into it, honestly. But now that I'm literally today's day 19, I feel like I'm literally like somebody lit a fuse, like I'm shot out of a rocket. I feel amazing working out at 5:15 in the gym in the morning. And yeah, I spelled bar wrong, gym, J-Y-M, not B-A-R. But, you know, for me, it's been a game changer. Joey, I appreciate you bringing it up. But Joey, do me a favor. I'm a Raiders fan. Tell me about what you think about the Raiders.
Well, I've never been a Raiders fan. I've never been anti-Raiders by any means. But, you know, I watch the Hard Knocks episodes on HBO. Every year they go a preseason. You're seeing behind the scenes. And it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's every year they do a different team. And the utmost respect for the NFL. I'm not a big NFL fan. I'm not that guy. But the utmost respect for those men and what they put themselves through. Anyway, I watched John Gruden. And I played football in high school. Not well, but I did play. And so I had that classic high school coach that was, you know, just that. And every year watching these guys, watching those coaches just tear them. Like, what the hell? Do you want to be here, sad sack? You know, all, and you can imagine, brother, right. Curse words galore and expletives and just name blah, blah, blah. It is the game. That is the game, right? So I'm sitting there watching John Gruden. And John Gruden, you're like, he's yelling at these guys, but you're like, I feel like he just lifted him up, you know, and I'll do a horrible Gruden impersonation, which I won't even try, but he basically something like, you know, hey, man, why don't you believe in you as much as I believe in you? Everybody here knows what a stud you are, but for some reason you're not here. Do you want to be somewhere else? I mean, do you even care about yourself anymore? Because we're all waiting for you to show up. Like he was kind of chewing their butt, but at the same time, man, he was completely lifting them up. And it was like I would watch him, and my wife watched it with me. And she's like, you know, she's reading something and not really paying attention. And all of a sudden she puts her book down and she's like, that guy's like a really good coach. And I was like, yeah. And I watched him and I was like, I want to be friends with John Gruden. He clearly knows football. Like if you saw him when he was youngest football, I believe he's the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl. I believe that's okay. And the guy that almost took that from him was his protege, right? With the Rams last year. McVay, I think the guy's name is.
Yeah, that's right. McVay, Rams.
And it's hilarious when they scrimmaged each other in this open, the Hard Knocks. They're showing John Gruden everything he's saying, then they show McVay. Oh my goodness, dude, he's clearly Gruden's protege. I mean, he was saying the things verbatim, and they purposely would cut back and forth between them, and John would say something, and then they would show McVay, and he'd say the exact same thing, the same mannerisms. And then they flashed back to when Gruden was, I think, at the Bucs, when McVay or somewhere back.
He won the Super Bowl with the Bucs.
Yeah, and McVay was very young, and he was his, like, one of just the really low-level assistants, him shadowing Gruden. Anyway, the point is, man, talk about a positive, uplifting person who knows his craft. And I was like, you know, if the Raiders don't win, it's not because it's not because of the coaching, I can tell you right now.
Wow.
And they won last week.
I'm a Raiders fan lifelong. I mean, I was a Raiders fan when they were in LA and then Oakland, and I followed them through the tough times. And, you know, when you're a Raiders fan, you always have two teams, and that's true for me, right? So every year I pick a different team besides the Raiders, and then that way I'm not totally let down by the end of the season, but I'm really optimistic about them. But, you know, I think that's such a great story. And, you know, something I think is valuable, right? We talk about mentors and we talk about coaching. And I brought this up at the beginning of the show that we really want to mentor. Let me explain the difference in my opinion as a coach. A mentor is somebody that lifts you up, that helps you, that points out maybe areas of weakness or opportunity that can help you. And they're really kind of a cheerleader in my opinion, but they're not holding you accountable. There's not an accountability element with a mentor. So that's what this show will be. We're going to lift you up. We're going to give you ideas. We're going to give you tactical things that you could take into your business in the field. But I'm not there to fucking babysit you. I'm not there to watch you in your business. I'm not there to hold your hand or hold you accountable to the calls you make or the people you talk to or what's going on for you. That's got to be on you. But if you do listen and you do those things, and I'm sorry I cussed, Joey, because you told me that you want your kids to be able to listen to this podcast.
No, brother.
I'll do my best, brother, but we're going to have to edit some of it for your kids. I'm just saying. Maybe Walmart will take on and put a G-rated version in their shelves for us. But
maybe.
But back to what I'm saying. We're going to give you real life tactical stuff to put into your business. That I'm 100% confident of. Joey, do you believe that?
Totally.
1,000%, right? He is literally a brainiac when it comes to the internet lead generation space, specifically relates to real estate and lending. And I think it crosses all categories and all verticals. I'm going to deliver the goods in your business to tell you what's going on in the future. I will tell you as of today, Friday the 13th, holy shit, it's Friday the 13th. Do you know I have a flight planned to get back into flying this afternoon? I'm not superstitious, but it's a full moon, Friday the 13th, and I'm going up with a 4-foot-tall Japanese man as a flight instructor.
You ever wonder why Friday the 13th has a stigma? Do you know?
No, I do not know. Is it anything to do with Freddy Krueger or any of that?
It has to do with the Knights Templar and the Catholic Church. This is so the Catholic Church put out they sent a message to all of the churches. Gosh, they killed all the Knights Templar. They opened it up on Friday the 13th.
I remember that. I watched it on Oak Island.
All the Knights. And that is actually where George Lucas gets Order 66, where the clones kill all the Jedi.
Okay, Star Wars. That's a Star Wars reference because I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Order 66.
We probably just lost 50% of our audience because I don't like Star Wars.
Are you kidding me? You just doubled your audience. They're like, dude, tune in. This guy just connected the Catholic Church to Darth Sidious. That's
Friday the 13th, Joey. Friday the 13th.
Did I just say the Pope was the High Sith Lord? No, I didn't say that. I just said that they use similar tactics.
Oh, anyway, I did not know the background of Friday the 13th. I can honestly say I still don't know, but thank you for sharing that.
So the Catholic Church kills all the Knights Templar.
And that was on Friday the 13th?
Yep, it was an order across all of Europe.
And so that's like why it's such a mysterious, supposedly bad luck, eventful day.
Yes.
I didn't know that, but I'm canceling my flight just the same.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm it's a little cloudy. I'm taking that as my out. But, honestly, as we wrap up today's segment, I'm super fired up about the delivery of content. And again, you plus two, them plus two. If you like the content, if you like what I hear, listen to other shows, and then, follow us. We'd love to have you. And, if you really want to engage with us, please look at our website, LikeABossPod001. And frankly, we're really grateful to have you here. I'm really excited about what's coming in the future. And we're going to have some great guests. We're just going to have a lot of good content on the show. But with that, any parting words today, Joey? Friday the 13th, 2019.
No.
Good. You know what? You could see his brain spinning like I'm going to drop something really big and powerful right now. And no, I have nothing else. I love you.
I think the Knights Templar and the Jedi.
And the hating on the Star Wars, all the Star Wars people. We're bound to have one follower next week. That's awesome. Hey, listen, everybody. If you love the show, come see us again. We'd love to have you. But it's Joey and Randy signing out for the day. But we appreciate you. We're loving it, and we're gonna have a great time here. And again, it's not for the faint of heart. So if it's not for you, no apologies, no nothing. But we're ready to rock and roll, and I appreciate you. Have a great day, and exit with the music that we don't have yet. So here it is. Talk to you later. Bye now.